to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, chief meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening, I'm Karen Harch, live in South Williamsport for the second day of action at the Little League World Series. I'll be back in a moment to fill you in on what's been going on here.
And good evening, I'm Nolan Johannes.
As we said, it's day 2 of action here at the Little League World Series in South Williamsport. The game going on behind me is between the team representing Europe and the team representing Canada. Sports Watch 16's Joe Zone is just down the hill from me. Joe, how's it been going all day long?
Karen, I'll tell you what, the team from the South, Tennessee, representing the USA South, is going into the finals, the American finals anyway. They won today. They 5-1 the final score of their game. I'll have highlights of that as they beat the team from Minnesota. You guys having fun? Yeah. As you can see, everybody's having a blast down here, myself included, you can be sure. Europe and Canada are tied at 1-1, and tell you more about that when we come back on the Sports Watch.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Well, it certainly is an international gathering of young ball players here in South Williamsport. Just about every corner of the world is represented here. As we said, the team representing Europe, Canada, United States teams. Well, Bob Costantini is about to tell us about some of those foreigners who are actually visiting home when they come here. Bob Costantini is also live, I think out in left field somewhere. Bob, what's that all about?
Karen, here on the third base side, they're pretty much rooting for the European team in this contest. The Europeans are coming up to bat in a moment or two, and in 25 years, the Europeans have only won 2 first-round games in the Little League World Series. They've not had much luck here in Williamsport. Well, this year, it's hoped that will all change because the team has a decidedly American flavor. You won't find a Rashid or Mohammed among these Little Leaguers, though they are the team from Saudi Arabia, representing Europe this year. 12 are American citizens, whose parents live and work in Saudi Arabia. The other 2 are British citizens. They've lived most of their lives in the Middle Eastern countries.
I miss about U.S. is Coca-Cola.
But these youngsters don't have much contact with the Saudis. They live in American compounds and go to American-run schools.
It's a big community, like 4,000 people live in it, and it's just all Americans mostly.
They all agree the U.S. is a nice place to visit.
Greener here.
Oh, yeah.
There's just all sand, but it's not really bad, because the people are really nice there.
There is Saudi Arabia, a country they represent, but most still look at the U.S. as home. And they are making a pretty impressive showing against the Canadian team. Right now in the top of the 5th inning, the score is tied 1-1 between Europe and Canada here in Williamsport. Back up to you, Karen.
Okay, thanks, Bob. You know, though, for many of the Little Leaguers here, it's their first trip to the United States. Take, for instance, a team from South Korea. Now, most of us cannot communicate with the South Koreans, so you can imagine how difficult it must be for these young boys here trying to communicate with we Americans. But as Newswatch 16's Valley Divine found out, there are 2 American guys here who are trying to make those boys feel right at home.
If you run into Fred Plankenhorn and Paul Weaver at the Little League World Series in South Williamsport, you won't find the team from the Far East far away. Just who are Fred and Paul? All you have to do is ask one of the players. Uncle Fred and Uncle Paul are hosts to these South Korean Little Leaguers. They're volunteers who help make the kids feel at home.
Make sure that things go smoothly for them, on the field, off the field, and to be sure that they are enjoying what is here for them.
So you may ask, with so many Little Leaguers from a foreign country, how do 2 American uncles remember everyone's name? Well, actually, the answer is very simple. You see, Korea provided the uncles with a team roster. Beside each player's name is their uniform number. The only problem Fred and Paul have as hosts is in talking to their kids who can't speak English. What if they have a real problem and they can't tell you?
Then I, of course, send them to Fred.
And what does Fred do?
Thanks, Paul. I yell for an interpreter real fast.
Valerie Devine, Newswatch 16, South Williamsport.
And Newswatch 16 continues with more action from the Diamond and a winner of a Weather Watch.
Plus, Jerry Gartenberg will be next with Action 16 and settling claims with Scranton Insurance.
an important message from your Quality Plus Ford dealer. The time for a factory-authorized 85 model clearance on all Fords in stock is now. Cars, trucks, vans, all clearance price to make way for the 1986 models. Get a great clearance deal on a sleek Thunderbird or a full-size LTD Crown Victoria clearance price to sell. This is an opportunity to save you cannot afford to miss. See your Quality Plus Ford dealer now for your 85 clearance deal.
Sweetheart, what's the matter?
I'm drowning my sorrows.
You are depressing the scenery.
Oh, Mom, I really wanted that job.
I know. But listen, when one door closes, another door opens. I always learn more from my failures than I did from my success.
You mean I can learn from failures?
Yes. Oh, you don't want to get a PhD in it, but you can learn.
I won't think of that.
There's one soft drink that fits the spirit of today, Diet Pepsi, the one-calorie choice of a new generation.
Wanda's on the Park inside the Sheraton Crossgate in downtown Wilkes-Barre. It's famous for its delicacies, roast duck, delicious meat dishes, and more. We can't forget Wanda's exclusive oven-baked bread served tableside, or Wanda's unique salad show with shrimp and coconut, all served complimentary with every dinner, or Wanda's dinner-side piano serenades. But what we really want you to know is Wanda's dinners are priced so you don't have to wait for a special occasion. Make tonight special at Wanda's on the Park inside the Sheraton Crossgate in downtown Wilkes-Barre.
For some, a financial nightmare may be ending now that the Scranton Insurance Company has been ordered out of the insurance business. Last night, Action 16's Jerry Gartenberg told us policyholders of the former Lackawanna County Company are faced with hundreds of thousands of dollars in unpaid medical claims. But Jerry says that a fund is being set up to pay valid claims Scranton Insurance may have neglected. Jerry, that sounds like very good news.
Well, it is good news, Nolan, but it will be at least 3 months before anyone with a valid claim gets a penny. And you have to remember, some people have already been waiting months hoping to settle claims with the former Scranton Insurance Company. People like the ones you're about to meet, who've paid a price you can't measure in dollars and cents.
We should be able to try and get ourselves back together and get used to her not being around, which is very hard when you have to be worried all the time and upset and totally sick
Over
the insurance, the bills not being paid.
Janet DeGillis and her sister Betsy lost their mom to lung cancer in January. Since January, their dad's been getting letters from hospitals asking why his wife's medical bills totaling more than $7,000 have not been paid. The bills were submitted last year to the now-defunct Scranton Insurance Company, but Scranton Insurance only paid a little under $330, leaving the Shenandoah family and the hospitals in the dark about the rest.
I had to go down to the hospital where my mom died, and this hospital is her largest creditor, for an itemized bill. And every time I look at it, I relive the day of her death. You know, every single item on that bill makes me think of what my mom went through the day she died and what we go through every day. Every day we look at the mail.
And you'll be thinking, well, if they don't pay, where are we going to get the money to pay for it? We don't have that kind of money to sell out.
I wanted to find out why Scranton Insurance hadn't paid those bills and others. But when I tried to arrange an interview with Fred Garm, then president of the company, all my requests were turned down. So 3 weeks ago, I paid Garm a visit. Mr. Garm, we've received complaints from policyholders that the Scranton Insurance Company isn't paying their claims. Can you speak to me about that? Garm wouldn't talk, so I tried to make sure he'd get my letter, again requesting an interview. I'm going to drop it under the door now. I hope you'll get back to me. He later agreed to an interview any time after August 5th. August 5th, it turns out, is the day state officials ordered Scranton Insurance out of the insurance business. When I showed up at the former company on August 12th, I found the doors locked. Is there any reason why we can't come in? I did finally get Mr. Garm on the phone. He was behind those doors, but says since he's no longer an officer of the Scranton Insurance Company, he won't do an interview with us. Not now, not ever. An official at the state insurance department did agree to an interview. William Tripp says people who filed valid claims with the former Scranton Insurance Company could have to wait as much as 9 months to get paid. It'll mean more paperwork and patience for some policyholders who say they've put up with enough already.
Naturally, we are sorry for them, but at this point there isn't anything we can do to alleviate their pain until they have replied in accordance to the statute by sending a proof of claim form in to us.
Now, if Scranton Insurance didn't pay your claim, you should be getting one of those proof of claim forms from the state insurance department within 3 weeks. If you don't, or if you have any questions, you can contact the department by writing to the Pennsylvania Insurance Department at Strawberry Square, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania 17120. You can also call them at 717-787-7823. That's 787-7823. Nolan.
Jerry, have a lot of people already sent in those forms? Have they been given to them, or did they get them?
No, they will be getting those forms in about 3 weeks, and after that, it'll still be a waiting game. They could be waiting as 9 months or even longer.
All right. Thank you very much, Jerry. And, Karen, back to you in South Williamsport.
Thanks, Nolan. Well, our chief meteorologist, Tom Clark, is next with his weather watch. And Tom is down in my favorite section of the ballpark, third base line. How's the view down there, Tom?
Terrific, Karen, but the sky over here at Lamity Stadium is threatening now. When we come back, I'll show you some unusual delays in the game of baseball.
Pennsylvania Double. It's the new Pennsylvania Lottery Instant Game, the game where prizes can double. But you don't have to lead a double life to play. Each ticket gives you the chance to win up to $100,000 instantly. Grand prize is $1,000 a week for life. $1 million guaranteed. So play the new $1 instant game, Pennsylvania Double. It could happen to you.
2 more tickets for Pennsylvania Double.
Sure thing. Fred, coming
Right
up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now at Kmart, you can live it to the limit with Wrangler jeans. Because when you buy any 3 pairs, Wrangler jeans for men, Wrangler jeans for women, or even children's Wrangler jeans, Wrangler will send you a gift certificate for a 4th pair of jeans free. Wrangler quality at a Kmart price and a free pair of jeans to boot. But the sale ends Saturday, so you better get moving. You can't do better than Kmart, the savings day.
Let's go right down to Tom Clark live here in South Williamsport to find out about these clouds up above. How about it, Tom?
Well, Karen, it's definitely kind of gray overhead, but much cooler than yesterday, 10 degrees cooler. I have about 72 here in left field, and even though it looks like rain, I don't think we're going to see any here tonight, but rain has not been the only reason for delaying a baseball game. Here are some unusual reasons for delay. Fog delayed a game at Shea Stadium in New York for 1 hour and 18 minutes back in '79. Wind was a problem at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto, Canada. 30-minute delay because of that. And snow delayed the start of a game in April up there in Toronto back in 1977, and that was a cold winter as we headed into spring back that year. Temperature-wise now here, we'll make that back in Avoca, 71 in the shade, 49% humidity, north wind at 12. That kind of favors the left-handed batters here. Barometer holding steady. The high today was 75 degrees and the low 56 this morning. Pollen count today, 3. That is well below normal, nothing to worry about. And just a light breeze here at the ballpark. That's the American flag on the right. In the center, the Canadian flag and the green flag on the left of Saudi Arabia. Satellite view shows some clouds off the east coast. Cloud cover very low, but no rain falling beneath the clouds over the Great Lakes in Pennsylvania. It's all because of colder temperatures in the upper atmosphere. Here's my forecast of sunrise tomorrow morning. This is right out of the almanac, folks, so 6:18 sunrise, sunset at 7:52. For tonight, partly cloudy. It should not rain, 53 the low. 72 tomorrow, a mixture of clouds and sunshine. No rain. Sunshine on Friday, 78. Comfortable on Saturday, partly cloudy. And Sunday, some showers. Our next chance for rain coming not until Sunday. Happy birthday wish goes out tonight to Elsie Wessner, watching from Mahanoy City. More unusual reasons for game delays tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Karen, it's not going to rain here, though.
Okay, hope not. Thanks, Tom. Well, Joe Zone is next with a Sports Watch. He'll have the story on today's Little League doubleheader, plus the Super 16 preseason football poll. Stay with us.
The most beautiful faces are covered with mud.
You may not know me with my mud mask on, but soon, poof! A glamorous actress with glowing skin and a smile crisp they could light a stage.
Say, who was that masked woman? Mud Mask.
Well, it's summer again. Time for those wonderful days at the beach. Or at Extravaganza Land.
That'll be $127, sir. Our lines average 4 hours and 10 minutes. Put a
Park in Wildwater Kingdom, Allentown, Pennsylvania. Lots of action.
And no seaweed.
Joe Zone is also here at the ballpark watching all of the action. Joe, fill us in on the sports watch.
Okay, they're in the last inning here between Saudi Arabia and Canada. Saudi Arabia is batting right now. The score is tied 1-1, and they're in the last inning. Let's take a look at what happened today in the earlier game when the team from the South won its game 5-1. This is the fourth inning now. No score until that home run by Rocky McElhenney. That made it 1-0. Now, look at the sacrifice bunt right here by Scott Stewart. 2-0, the Southern team leading. Okay, top of the sixth inning now. Tennessee from the South batting again. Single by Brad Cornwell. 2 runs will score on this play, even though one of them is unearned, but that makes it 4-0. Tennessee leading the team from Minnesota. The big story, though, Tennessee's Richie Conway. Another base hit right here to make it 5-0. The pitcher for Tennessee, Richie Conway, had a no-hitter going into this game. 1 out in the last inning, and then finally right here, the base hit, the only base, the first base hit off him in the sixth. They got one later. Final score, 5-1. So it'll be Mexicali versus Tennessee tomorrow in the American final. Okay, let's talk football here. You know about the bottom 3 teams in our Super 16. Whitehall's in there. Tamaqua, Williamsport. Let's take a look now at team number 13. Big powerhouse team, Southern Columbia, out of the Eastern Conference. C 10-2. Jay Christopher has their story.
For Southern Columbia head football coach Jim Ross, this year's football schedule looms as his first real test of molding a winning team. In 1984, the Tigers finished with an impressive 10-2 record, due in great part to the offensive exploits of running back Jerry Marks. Now, Marks will be back this year, but there have been some changes. Ross feels he can deal with those changes.
The key positions that we have to look for replacements at are fullback and defensive ends mainly. We lost Greg Holliday and John Marks, who were both two-way players and probably 2 of the best kids in the region at those positions last year, so they're definitely the areas that we're most concerned about.
Now, if the Tigers can shore up some of the holes in that offensive line, it'll pave the way for a double-barrel running attack provided by 1,000-yard gainer Jerry Marks and teammate Tim Sharrow. Sharrow was another big ground gainer until he suffered a knee injury halfway through the 1984 season.
If those two, stayed healthy, I think that really adds a whole other dimension to our team as far as the way we were at the end of the year last year, because after Timmy got hurt, we more or less fed Jerry the ball, and that's where he picked up a lot of those yards to give him the big season.
Everybody will be waiting for Marks and Sharrow this season, waiting to put the brakes on the Tiger Express. But Marks has other plans.
I'm just going to try taking, one game at a time. And with Tim and our fullback, we have, I think, the capability of an Eastern Conference championship.
Southern Columbia opens the season on August 30th against Jim Thorpe. But their second and third games against Bloomsburg and Central Columbia will be their biggest early season test. Tests that will make or break the Tigers' run at the crown. This is Jay Christopher, Sports Watch Big 4.
Saudi Arabia is taking a 2-1 lead. I'll have the highlights tonight on the update. Karen?
Okay, thanks, Joe. Well, this isn't the only game in town. There's one out of town, out of state, in fact. A lot of people are playing. We'll tell you about it when we come back.
Wolfie invites everyone to enjoy family fun at Wolf Hollow, Route 11 between Berwick and Bloomsburg. Wolfie has the largest miniature golf course in northeast Pennsylvania. Balls and clubs are furnished for the driving range and bats for the baseball batting range. Golfers can chip and putt on our lighted 9-hole golf course. Try homemade pizza and ice cream and play the latest video games in Wolfie's Pizza Den. Wolf Hollow, open 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. every day on Route 11 midway between Berwick and Bloomsburg. 1 mile south of exit 36, Interstate 80.
I'll have a Coke.
Sure, stranger. Which one?
Just Coke.
Oh, there's lots of them. You see, the old Coke is the old Coke before it became your new Coke. The new Coke is the one that used to be your old Coke, which became your new improved Coke. Except for your classic Coke, which is really the old Coke, but now that's your new Coke. You know what I mean?
Just give me the one you like best.
That's easy.
Pepsi.
Now more than ever, Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
Glad I asked.
When it comes to auto parts, A&A has the advantage, and the best prices, too.
Replace those worn-out shocks with Gabriel Red Ryder Lifetime Guaranteed Shock Absorbers. On sale this week only, $12.95 each.
the largest selection of name brand auto parts, the best discount prices, and experts to solve your automotive needs. That's the A&A advantage.
Check out one of the 10 A&A Auto Parts stores nearest you.
When you think Honda, think Bar Honda Williamsport. Why? Well, being an exclusive Honda dealer allows Bar Honda to give you better availability and shorter delivery time. You have the satisfaction of getting the personal touch to your selection as well as personal service after the sale. And Bar Honda is even open Saturdays till 4 p.m. in order to assist you in selecting the right Honda for your needs. Need service and parts? Personnel in that department are open till 1 p.m. on Saturday. Bar Honda Williamsport, the best reason for buying and owning a Honda.
Finally, there are a lot of people waiting to become millionaires tonight. The New York State Lottery drawing at 10:25 p.m. will be worth more than $41 million. Lottery tickets this morning were being sold at the rate of more than 19,000 a minute. Many people from Pennsylvania, as well as New Jersey, Vermont, and Canada, journeyed into New York to buy a chance at that jackpot. This deli in Binghamton was a very busy place today. Tonight on the update, we'll have those New York lottery numbers for you, of course, as well as the Pennsylvania lottery. And I understand, Karen, that they have extended the time. Normally the drawing is 8 o'clock at night. They're extending it to 10:25 tonight so more people can cash in. So if you'd like to take Skycam up there after you leave South Williamsport, get me a ticket too, will you?
Well, you know, I already have my ticket, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Okay.
Good luck to everyone. Well, that is Newswatch 16 for tonight.
Be sure to join us tonight on the update when we'll be having those winning numbers in tonight's $41 million New York State Lotto.
ABC's World News tonight is next.
For the team, thank you for joining us.
Enjoy your evening.